Three, two, one. Hey, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you're at in the US or around the world. This is Pete Caliendo. I'm your host with Baseball Outside the Box, and we are still traveling the great Vancouver Island, Okanagan. We're currently in Vancouver Island, another beautiful spot of Vancouver, unbelievable sights, and we are on the BC Minor Baseball Coaches, Player, Parents Caravan, and that is 4 or 5 coaches traveling around for 2-3 weeks, hitting a city every day, bringing out lots of people, parents, coaches, players from that association, and we're doing some fun stuff, some innovative training with the young kids, starting at, believe it or not, some kids 4 or 5 years old, all the way to about 13, 14. This is the grassroots level. It's the development. It's the brainchild of my good friend, Mike Kelly with BC Minor Baseball. I want to give out a special shout out also to Grant Butler, the president of BC Minor Baseball, of course, his board. There's many people on the board. I want to thank them for allowing me to be part of the coaching staff. This is my 12th or 13th year. I lose track. As you get older, man, you lose track of stuff. So, but it is a long time I've been here with BC Minor Baseball. Also at the coaches conference that they hold every year. They are fantastic people. Thank you to ISG Baseball for allowing me to do these things. It's fantastic and really enjoy it. Hey, folks, today we got a special show. Before we can go forward, make sure if you're on Facebook Live, you got any questions, any comments, anything you want to say, suggestions, I am all open. I think as a coach, you got to be open-minded. That is why it's called Baseball Outside the Box. Think outside the box when it comes to helping young players develop themselves in the game of baseball, to help coaches develop themselves. We are all developing constantly. I've been in the game over 40, 45 years, and I'm still trying to figure this stuff out, right? I'm still trying to make it more fun for the kids, still trying to be innovative. Make sure that whatever you're working on is progressing the players' development, so that way they have a better time playing the game. Everybody talks about having fun. I'm going to keep repeating it. Thanks for telling me to have fun. I think that's a great thing. Emphasize it. Be positive. All got great stuff. But what's fun? Fun is when you're successful, folks. If you're a young kid hitting, striking out 3 times, well, that's not fun. Why would they play a game where they strike out all the time? Right? I'm going to find something else to do. Nobody says, oh, that was a great time. Can't wait to do that again. No, they want to be successful. So the one youngster who, I don't know, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, struck out 3 times that day. Well, what's fun for him? The next day coming out hitting a few ground balls, because now we're hitting the ball. Man, you ever see a young kid hit a ball? Big smile. Wow. They not worried where they're hitting it. Half the time when you hit a ground ball at real young ages, you're going to get on base. So that's fun, right? And for a youngster who's hitting some ground balls, maybe a line drive's fun. How about diving for a ball? That's fun. And you caught it, right? You caught a pop-up, caught a ground ball, threw a guy out at first, whatever it may be. Maybe it's second. He tagged the runner. Maybe even bunted. Hey, what happened to bunting, right? You bunted a guy over, maybe bunted for a base hit. Wow. What a concept that is, huh? Let's look where the defense is at. Maybe bunt for a base hit. There's a lot of great things, a lot of positive things. Let's not forget the at bat, right? A youngster, we forget all the time. We challenge we say, well, we're always looking at the pitcher and the hitter. Those are the things that everybody does the most. So we talk about those the most. Well, don't hitters, maybe have 8 swings at an at bat, real young kids, or 7, a lot of swings they're battling. Even if they struck out, that's a great at bat. You've heard that many times. Hopefully you follow that fundamental. Hey, thanks for joining us, folks, on Facebook. A lot of Pizzolato. What's up, buddy? Got Jacket. You got Kevin James. You got Donnie Freeman. Donnie Freeman, one of the best coaches I've ever been around, national team coach, USA Baseball. Currently now in Croatia coaching. He's been all over the world. What a fantastic coach and person he is. He's like a mentor to me, and I've been fortunate to have a lot of mentors. But listen, I want to make this show specifically for what you're seeing on there on the screen, and that is games that we should be playing with young kids at a very young age, whether it's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or somewhere around there, 4 to 8. Again, you have to use your judgment, right? And you got to progress. Games that we have learned or made up ourselves from all over the world. We're just going to talk about a few of them. And there's some great countries that really think outside the box, right? And the U.S. is doing better at this. I give some credit to USA Baseball. They're doing better at giving ideas on this stuff. The ABCA does a great job. They've got a youth committee, great people on there. They're trying to figure out ways to make sure that kids have fun when they're young, and when they play a game, that they're having fun playing that game, but they're all involved, right? You play a 9-9 game at a 6-year-old level, that's no fun. I'm waiting in the outfield for a ball, right? Again, they're going to look at other sports. I don't blame them, right? Play soccer, hockey, lacrosse, handball. That's the one where you run and throw the ball at each other, try to score. Those are fun because there's always action. What do kids like to do? They like to run. They like to talk, communicate maybe if they can, throw things. Well, and while they're moving, and that's fun. Baseball can be, as we have said many times and others, it can be boring if it's run incorrectly. Sometimes, as Tom House said many times, it could be a negative game coached by negative people at times because we're always looking at negatives. Hey, I got to work on that. Positive, positive, positive. Okay. So let's look at some of the games. I'm going to start off with a very basic game held by the World Baseball Softball Confederation, invented by the Cubans. Was in Cuba 9 times, but the Cubans started this. The WBSC committee started to advance this program worldwide. It will probably be in the Olympics one day. I really believe that. It's a fun game, and you got to be open-minded. Sometimes you have to adapt. If you learn about a game, adapt to that game, right? What do I mean by adapt? I'll show you in a minute. So basically, there's a lot of countries that can't have, they can't afford equipment, can't afford bats, can't afford balls, all this stuff, bases. So all you need is one ball, rubber ball, softer, it bounces a little bit. You can go to WBSC.org, check it out. They even send you, I think, a package, and all the rules are on there. But it's very simple. It's only infield. There's a line in the front. So home plate's here. Then in front, I want to say about 40 feet, maybe before the pitching mound, early, there's like a circle. All right. And you've got to bounce it at home, and you're going to hit it with your hand. Yes, folks, don't yell at me. Yes, you're hitting it with your hand. Now think about it. You're 5, 6, 7 years old, maybe 6 and 7. This would be a good age to start off. And you're hitting it with your hand. So you're getting this kind of motion. I know you're not getting the palm up, palm down, but you're getting hand-eye coordination. But you got to hit it within that circle first. It's got to bounce once in that circle. Then you play the game. You field it and throw it. Now, first base, what I would recommend in a game like this, 6-year-olds have sometimes a hard time catching. Well, going to have a very hard time catching the ball that small with no glove. Because you don't use any gloves in this. It's all hands, which is great, right? Because the hands need to form and understand how you catch a ball before you put that heavy glove on. I never understood this, and I think we need to train the left hand a lot. So as we're talking about this game, we're talking about training the left hand if you're a right-handed thrower, or training the right hand if you're a left-handed thrower. Because young kids at school, right? They open doors, whatever they do, they use that one dominant hand all the time, unless you're ambidextrous. But they never use the glove hand. Amazing. And then we ask them to put a heavy glove on there that most of the time is broken in incorrectly, because we take 2 balls, put them in there, put a string around it and hold it, because we've been taught that when we were young kids. That might be good for older players, but it's not good for kids. You might want to turn the glove inside out, so that way when it opens back up, it's got an open form, right? So now you've got a better chance of catching the ball. But if your hands understand it, before you put a glove on there, because the glove's going to train the body, and it's going to make it off balance. It's too heavy. Not a good way to really start learning how to play catch. You got to play catch first. And we use bean bags. We've talked about that in a previous show, but we promised you today we talk about games. So now the fielder fields it, throws at the first base, and it's a regular game. I believe you advance 1 base at a time, which is great. You can play with the young kids. I would sometimes use 1 base at a time. With older players, and this is a game played by seniors also. A lot of players out there. There's world championships going on with the older players, and again, you can progress it where now they're also can go anywhere in the infield. If you hit obviously a ball over line drive, that's going to be an out, because you got to hit it first in that circle. So now think about that. You've started with your hand. You're getting some hand-eye coordination, and I've mentioned it. Just send out a post. Why don't I like T-ball? And I apologize to my T-ball friends out there and everybody around the world that plays T-ball. If it works for you, look, use it. I'm not going to tell you not to use it. I'm not a big fan of it. I know we got T-ball USA, great organization. They're doing a lot of great work. But again, we need to change, modify to make it a little bit more fun. Think about a T-ball kid who's trying to hit a small ball on a tee. And I would recommend put a big one if you're going to use a tee and you can play a game with it. Put a big ball up there. Then they got a heavy bat. Now, a lot of people have gone to, and I posted it on my on my Facebook page, Twitter, go to Facebook, Peter Caliendo, go to Twitter, Baseball Outside the Box or Baseball Out. And I've done the video on it. Use the smaller bats with the foam, which is really light. Now they can hit that big ball off there. I can see that. I understand that. If you want to use that, that's great. Problem with a tee is that you're looking at the ball right there. You should be looking out there. You should have a coach pretending to throw a ball and teaching kids to look here and then hit the ball off a tee. But that's why I don't like it, because now all of a sudden you progress and now you're going to throw a ball and they've been looking there the whole time. Now you got to transfer that. Listen, this is a whole topic in itself, but kids can use that one bat with big balls. You throw it underhand and even overhand. If the coach on one knee, man, you see him hit them at 4 years old. Boom, boom, boom. We do it 20 years. I don't need research. Okay. 20 years. And I don't mean to be cocky about it, but what I'm saying by I don't need research, if I had 20 years of research of doing this, we've been doing it with young kids for a long time with the big bat, tossing big balls, and they've been hitting everywhere. One-handed, two-handed, who cares? Don't worry about it. Later on, worry about the technique a little bit more. You might spread their feet out to make them a little bit more balanced, have them, great technique, jump in the air, come back down, right, and get that ground force, what they call ground force. But these are young kids, 4, 5, 6 years old. So now the game that we're playing is fun, right? You're hitting with your hand. Now you can progress to 5-on-5. Now you can go to a big ball, right? With the rubber bat that I showed you on our social media. Now you could have a coach toss. I don't have a problem coaching toss with underhand with young kids if you don't want to kneel down. The best is overhand when kneeling down, but you might have to progress to that too, because overhand creates kind of a fear factor, even though the balls are soft. And then the problem is they're looking way too high. So, now you've got a kid, now you're playing 5-on-5. Now, what kind of game can you play here? Because the ball's going to be a little bit bigger. So you got to think about that. If the ball's bigger, they're not going to be able to throw it probably. But as they get the big ball, now they're going to just throw it to the coach that's pitching, and you can play coach out. So if you get the first base before the ball gets to the coach, then the runner's out. If you don't, runner's safe, and you progress one base at a time. You can also, as they get better, once they start hitting the ball on the big ball, you can progress to a smaller ball that doesn't go far, that's squishy. Now, if you want, you can throw to the base, first base, or you could still play coach out first, or you could put a coach at first base, let them start their throwing, working on their skills, and then progress to a youngster working on that. So I give the Cubans a lot of credit, baseball 5, the WBSC, World Baseball Softball Confederation, great job.org. Go to WBSC.org. And then, our friends here in Vancouver, very proactive, very outside the box thinkers. Chris Johnson, I mentioned before, from England, who lives here in Vancouver. We worked with him many times. He started us on a long time ago with the bats and the big balls, and man, just hitting those things all the time. So now you progress to that game. So Vancouver, Baseball Canada has a great game, and one of the most advanced federations in the world. I know there's others, and I'll mention them. There's a lot of great international federations that I've had lucky to work with. Worked with over 50 countries and more that come up with these innovative ideas, because sometimes when you don't know the game as much, you come up with creative ideas because you're not stuck in that mold of, that's the way we used to do it. Well, you know what? Maybe it's not always the way we should do it. Maybe we better think of better ways. Now, Canada has a program, the Rally Cap, and they're always advancing programs. They might play, 4 or 5 kids might play a game on the field. That could be T-ball, that could be the bat, the big wiffle ball bat, or regular big bat, I should say, foam bat. Another group is working on fundamentals, so it could be fundamentals of throwing. Another group, fundamentals of catching the ball. And you can determine that according to how you want, and then you rotate the groups, right? You rotate them maybe 15 minutes each. Don't keep it too long. You want to do it 10 minutes, that's fine. And then you could rotate them twice, have different fundamentals out there. Great innovation. And you could have 2 teams with this group, right? Because if you have 2 teams, and maybe you do have 10 kids. So now you split them up in those 3 groups. There's a game going on, there's fundamentals in the other groups, and then they rotate. And don't forget to have incentives too, right? Baseball cards, I talked about earlier, great incentives for young kids. Hand out the baseball cards. You got stickers. Remember the old Pittsburgh Pirates? The stickers on the hats and the helmets when they did really well, got a hit, home run, whatever it may be. paid attention, get a little sticker. We used to do that with Baseball Schools USA. I'm fortunate to come from a baseball school, make-your-own baseball school for over 10 years there, and then progress to Baseball Schools USA, worked with young kids for a long time. And I keep thinking of creative ways to do this. So think about Baseball Canada, great job. You know, the Dutch have had a game 6-on-6, very similar to what we talked about. In Canada, I remember hockey, right? They were playing full length with 10-year-olds or 11-year-olds or 9-year-olds, whatever it was. And, nobody ever touched the puck. Only a few guys once in a while. Then he got tired going back and forth. So what did they do? They went this way. So they played 3 different games on one hockey arena. And now everybody's touching the puck. Very similar concept, right? Now everybody's hitting. Everybody's you always get in the baseball because there's only 5 players on the field. So somebody's getting that ball hopefully all the time. And if you're a coach, you got to think, throw the ball a little inside, maybe to hit left side, throw the ball middle, hit up the middle. Different players get it. If you're a parent and you're tossing balls, remember, build confidence for the player. Wherever the player's swinging, throw that there first so they hit it a few times. Get that hand-eye coordination going. So give you an idea, those are a few games. Now, in Make-Your-Own Baseball School, we used to play, and this is where the modified game comes in. We didn't run, and now we've changed this because we didn't run to second base. We wanted to teach them how to run just to first base. And this was 20 years ago, 30, 40, I don't even remember, it's so long ago. We used to have the players would hit, the coach would pitch, runner, we'd have a further bag. The bag first base would be even further, so you have to run a little bit further. And when they hit the ball, they would run to first, and the fielders would field it. If the ball got to the coach before the runner got to first, obviously they're out. Now, what's interesting about this, because you could have a full field, you can get some relays with some younger kids that can do it better. They can relay to the coach, or you can just have the infield. You don't have to have an outfield. And obviously, if they hit it over the infielder's head where they got to jump, that might be an out. So again, you're modifying the game, and now the runner on first has to come back home, and they would get a point. And the only negative about that is now they're running back home, they get confused, and you got 2 runners running because you got the batter running there. So what I would do is let them go to second base, modify the game a little bit. The reason we had a further base was to give them an idea, give them a little bit more time to throw the ball to the coach or relay to the coach. And that was a lot of fun. We used to throw the ball up in the air and just play a game because they hit the ball a lot. So again, great modified games. We'll be back with more modified games. These are just a few. And folks, these aren't games that we're just reading off the internet or figuring out what somebody else is telling us. These are games that we did for a long time. These are games that we did with the young kids, the equipment that we use with young kids. Proven factual techniques that actually made the games a lot more fun. They touched the ball more, and it was very interesting. And I tell you what, the young kids love it. Why? They love the hit, right? And if you got extra coaches and you're waiting for, one kid's up the bat, the other kid could be by the fence with a coach tossing the ball, hitting it into the fence. Give them still practice before they get to home play, right? Can even be on one knee, throw them wiffle balls to them before they get the hit, right? So after they do that, now they go to hit. Again, a lot of swings, a lot of fun, and be energetic. All right, folks, time to go. And why? Because we've got another fantastic BC Minor Baseball coaches, players, parents, caravan coming up. We got to travel a little bit, about an hour from here. We're going to travel. It's a 3-hour program, an hour and a half for young kids, hour and a half for the older kids. We bring out parents, coaches, players, and parents. And we put them out, and we got different stations, different drills, and the parents go around, watch the fun drills that we do, innovative techniques, innovative drills. We're not big believers in doing what we've always done in the past. We want to learn all the time to make it better, funner. And remember, fun is being successful. Each individual needs to get a little bit more successful. Learn how to catch. That's fun. Now I finally caught something. Learn how to swing the bat a little bit. Now I finally hit the ball. I didn't strike out, right? Or I hit a ground ball, or I hit a line drive, whatever it may be. And now I threw, as I learned to throw a little bit better, now I'm actually throwing the ball to the coach or to the first base better than I did before. It's that progress that the kids love, and they feel good about themselves. We'll be talking more about that later. So again, hey, I'm your host, Pete Caliendo, 100 countries. I want to thank all the countries all over the world for sharing the show with everybody. It just keeps getting out there and out there. We keep getting more and more followers, not just followers, but listeners to the podcast, and people that watch it on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and all our social media networks. They also Listen to it at baseballoutsidethebox.com. Share that. That's where all our shows are. I got over 300 there. ESPN Honolulu, thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Thanks for hosting the podcast audio there. Again, ESPN Honolulu. Aloha to all my friends in Honolulu and all over Hawaii. Don't forget, we've also want to give some prayers to the Ukrainian people. They're still battling this terrible invasion. I call it an invasion. Okay, you call it a war. Do whatever you want. I don't think it's legit. And I'm really sad, all my friends in Ukraine. And I'm also sad for all my friends in Russia, because a lot of Russian people, we've got a lot of great baseball coaches in Russia we've made friends with. They're outstanding. They're friends of ours. We've done several, ISG's done several camps there with coaches. We have a lot of fun. You know, they got parents, they got family in Ukraine also. So we pray for all of them. You know, and I get it that it's governments sometimes, you know, do the wrong thing. And, you know, whether it's right or wrong, that's your choice to decide. But right now, I just want to pray for everybody. And again, folks, we'll be back hopefully tomorrow, depending where we're at and when I can do the show. I want to thank you all. God bless you. Remember, stay safe, stay healthy. God bless you all. And we will see you on the next show.